The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been nothing short of a massive success for Nintendo since its launch back in May 12th of 2023. Just 3 days after this game hit the market, we got confirmation from Nintendo that it had crossed 10 million total units sold, and we don't know quite where it's at this point in time, but there is a lot of reason to believe that this could go on to be the best-selling Zelda entry in series history, and arguably go down as one of the biggest Nintendo Switch games of the entire generation. And in today's video, we have to discuss some brand new data that does show exactly what this game is doing in the first half of 2023 when you compare it to every other game that has launched this year. And I want to break down exactly what we've learned and talk about what this likely means for the broader conversation of the future of the Zelda franchise from here. What's up, nation? Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification if you haven't already. And as mentioned, guys, we are talking about some brand new Tears of the Kingdom headlines that are making the rounds online. As you can see, the following article posted up over on VGC that reads as follows. Zelda topped physical game sales in Europe in the first half of 2023. Tears of the Kingdom came in ahead of Hogwarts Legacy and FIFA 23. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was the best-selling physical game in Europe in the first half of 2023. That's according to information published on Tuesday by market research company GfK Entertainment, which said Nintendo Switch exclusive beat Warner's Hogwarts Legacy and EA's FIFA 23 to the top spot. The data covers sales of box games in Australia, Belgium, and Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Hungary, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Slovakia, Sweden, Switzerland, Spain, and the UK. Tears of the Kingdom was the best-selling game in 9 of the 18 countries, while Hogwarts Legacy topped the chart in 4 countries and FIFA 2023 in 5. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was released on May 12th and sold 10 million copies worldwide in its first 3 days, according to Nintendo. That made it the fastest selling game in the history of the series and the fastest selling Nintendo game for any system in Europe and the Americas. So clearly Nintendo knows what they're doing with Zelda and the current day formula at this point in time, because if you just look at the total mass market appeal numbers that we are talking about with Tears of the Kingdom being confirmed to be over 10 million, but honestly, it's likely at this point with the forward momentum we're seeing around the game that it could be well over the 15 to 18 million mark, and that is still considering that we are in the year it has launched, and this will likely be an evergreen title like Breath of the Wild has been, meaning it will continue to sell. Not to mention, if Nintendo does decide to do some kind of DLC for this game, then maybe re-release it with a performance patch for a next generation Nintendo console. I could definitely see it cementing itself as the best-selling Zelda game of all time. And we knew when we got a game like Breath of the Wild, because it was such a true pivot from the form that we had seen Nintendo go with the prior Zelda games in terms of making it open world, open exploration, play the story how you want, change all of the core formula of what makes a 3D Zelda game a 3D Zelda game, and we saw it hit massive successful new heights with that game sitting up over 31 million copies sold if you combine the Switch release and the Wii U release, as of course that was a dual release at the same time. But it was no guarantee that Tears of the Kingdom would really follow up on that success and continue to propel the series to new heights, and now we are seeing early data suggesting that that is indeed the case. And that's great news for us Zelda fans at the end of the day. It does indeed mean that we will likely see less and less of a focus on any of the older traditional style Zeldas, although if you've been around on the channel, you will know that I am more in the camp of thinking that Nintendo could still develop those traditional style Zeldas alongside of ports and remasters of classic games, with a different development team besides who's spearheading their new open world Zeldas, because now we logically should not expect the next entry in the franchise to happen for the next 6 to 7 years, as that's really looking about the average development time for a new mainline 3D Zelda game as they get more and more ambitious, and especially considering that we will likely not revisit the same Hyrule that we saw in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in whatever the sequel to those games will ultimately be become, I think we could be talking about a 2028 at the earliest, if not 2029 or even 2030 release for the next mainline Zelda entry. But it is kind of outstanding if you just take a glance at what this series has typically performed at in terms of total sales numbers. As you can see some loose estimates, I wouldn't say these are exact numbers, but over at vgsales.fandom.com, where you can kind of see the picture painted that Zelda's always been a big seller for Nintendo. I mean, right out of the gate at the original game, you had 6.51 million copies, or 7.29 if you combine the double releases for the original game. Then you had 4.9 on the second one. You have A Link to the Past at 7.4 million. You have Link's Awakening at 12.13, Ocarina of Time at 14 million, although that is two separate releases, one for the N64 and one for the 3DS, of course. Zelda Majora's Mask, 6.79 combined. Oracle of Ages and Seasons, 3.99. The Wind Waker, with both of its releases, at 6.79. Four Swords Adventures, under 1 million. The Minish Cap at 1.76. Twilight Princess at 10 million with its combined releases. Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, which were released on vastly successful consoles, coming in at 7.72. Skyward Sword hitting 7.58 with its combined releases, one of them being very recent on the Switch. A Link Between Worlds at 4.28, and Triforce Heroes at 1.36. Then you have this massive surge when Zelda goes open world to 31.51 million combined units sold for Breath of the Wild. And the only official confirmation we have around Tears of the Kingdom is that 10 million number, but I am confident, as said, that it is likely at the 15 to 18 million units sold number at this point in time. And again, guys, this is an evergreen title. It will likely continue to sell at this level. And I am just hopeful that Nintendo continues to develop these kind of top quality open world Zelda experiences alongside of some love letters to the more traditional format for people who have been a lifelong fan of the franchise and still like to revisit some of those core gameplay mechanics, as I know I certainly would like to have that as an option in addition to this new direction for Zelda games. But I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video what you think about the continued momentum for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and how you feel about the game overall. I personally rank it amongst the best Zelda games I've ever played, period. It's hard for me to pick a singular favorite Zelda game. I truly love them all in so many different ways, but I know that I am having that level of fun with Tears of the Kingdom currently, not even 100%ing the game yet, but just really enjoying everything it has to offer every time I boot it up. And bonus question, let me know what you hope we see from the future of the Zelda franchise, and when do you think we will see the next mainline 3D Zelda release, and do you think that we will get some smaller ports and remasters, or just straight up more traditional Zelda games released in between that longer development cycle that logically you would expect to happen in between the mainline 3D releases at this point in time. But regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before we leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.